You made it here. And that is enough for tonight. Nothing is being asked of you right now. You do not have to fix anything. You do not have to figure anything out. Just listening is enough, even if you only catch a few words at a time. Even if your mind keeps moving. Let this be a place where you can stop pushing. Or if you cannot stop pushing yet, that is okay too. You can still rest here with me. And I am here with you. Steady and unhurried. You do not have to do this alone tonight. If it feels comfortable, let your shoulders soften a little. Or leave them exactly as they are. If you notice your jaw holding, you can let it loosen. Or you can simply listen and let my voice do the pacing. And if it feels okay, you can let the weight of you be held by whatever is beneath you. Just noticing that support for a moment. Or not noticing it at all, and still letting your body be supported anyway. Let your breathing be natural. No special breaths. Just the next inhale, arriving when it arrives. And the next exhale, leaving when it leaves. And if your breath feels tight or uneven, that can be here too. Nothing needs to change for you to be allowed to rest. You might still feel responsible for things. You might still feel like you are on call, even now. That makes sense. You have been carrying. Tonight, you do not have to stop carrying. We are just going to practice carrying gently, in a way that does not require effort. For now, the simplest thing is this. You are here. You are safe enough in this moment. If thoughts keep tapping at you, you do not have to answer them. You can let them wait nearby without engaging. Or if you get pulled into them, you can always come back without any blame. Let your attention rest on the feeling of being supported, just a little. Or do not focus at all, and simply let the words pass through. Carrying gently can be as small as unclenching 1%, or not unclenching and still giving yourself permission. You do not need to do this right. You do not need to stay with me perfectly. Listening is enough. And as we stay here together, you can keep carrying gently, just by allowing this moment to be a little less tight. And if it helps to hear it again, this is enough. You are allowed to settle in small ways, or not settle yet, and still be welcome here. So for these next few breaths, nothing more is needed. Carrying gently, just for now. And if even that feels like too much to hold, you can simply rest and let let my words keep you company. You are still allowed to be here, even with everything you carry. The load is real. The responsibility is real. And it makes sense if your mind has been staying alert. Nothing about you is failing tonight. You have been doing what you know how to do, holding things steady. And it is okay if part of you still feels like you have to keep track. It is okay if your mind keeps checking, just in case. That is a kind of care, too. And for now, you do not have to set any of it down. You do not have to make decisions. You do not have to sort it. You can keep the same responsibilities and still carry them more gently. Carrying gently can mean you are still the one who cares, still the one who shows up, just without the extra clench. If thoughts are lined up, asking for your attention, that is okay. They can be there without getting answered. They can be nearby without you needing to meet them. And you do not have to solve them to be allowed to rest. You do not have to find the right thought or the right plan. Rest can happen beside the unfinished. You do not have to argue with them. You do not have to push them away. You can let them move in the background while you rest in the foreground. And if one thought feels louder than the others, you can let it be loud. You do not have to turn toward it. You can let it pass through the room of your mind without becoming your whole night. Just notice, in a simple way, that your body is being held by something, a surface beneath you, support that does not ask you questions. And maybe you can let that support count as real help, not something you have to earn, just something that is already here. If it feels comfortable, let your shoulders drop a fraction, or let them stay lifted. Either way, you are still supported. If it feels okay, let the muscles around your eyes soften, or do not change them at all. You can rest without adjusting anything. If you notice your tongue pressing, you can let it rest a little easier, or simply let my voice keep you company while your body does what it does. If you notice your hands holding, you can let the fingers loosen a little, or you can do nothing at all. Resting counts too. And if you notice your belly bracing, you can let it be a little less guarded, or keep it exactly as it is. Either way, you do not need to work for this moment to be gentle. Carrying gently can be that small. The same load, Softer holding, carrying gently, can be a breath that is not forced, a shoulder that is not trying so hard, a jaw that is allowed to unclench a millimeter. And if your mind says, yes, but what about later? That can be there too. You are not required to follow it. You are allowed to let later wait. You are allowed to let later be a closed door for now. Not locked forever, just closed so you can rest in this room of the present. You can let your breath be ordinary, just air moving in and air moving out. No fixing, no special effort. And if you notice yourself trying to breathe the right way, you can let that go too. Or let it stay. Either way, the next breath will still arrive. If the breath feels shallow, that is fine. If it feels uneven, that is fine. Your body can still soften around it. If you notice a tiny exhale wanting to lengthen on its own, you can let it. Or you can leave your breathing completely alone. There is nothing to perform here. Sometimes the mind speaks in urgency, even when the moment itself is quiet enough. You do not have to become the urgency. You can be the one who is being held. And being held does not mean you stop caring. It just means you are not the only thing holding everything up. For this moment, the support beneath you can share the weight. Carrying gently tonight does not change what matters to you. It only changes the grip. A little less braced, a little more supported. Carrying gently. Same responsibilities, softer holding. Still real, just not as sharp in your hands. If you drift, you drift. If you keep listening, you keep listening. Either way, you are doing enough. And if you notice yourself checking whether you are doing enough, you can let that question rest, too. You do not need to measure this moment. You can simply be here with the support already underneath you. And right now, you can let the support beneath you do more of the work. Carrying gently. The same responsibilities, softer holding. And if nothing changes at all, you can still rest. You can still be held. You can still carry gently, just by not gripping quite as hard in this single, quiet minute. And you can keep letting that support beneath you do its quiet work. Nothing needs to change for you to be allowed to rest. You are safe in this moment. And if the mind is still alert, that is okay. We are not trying to push it away. We are simply giving you a little more room around it. Just for now, you can let the night be simple. Your body held, your breath arriving on its own. No effort required. If it feels comfortable, notice one easy thing: the gentle rise of an inhale and the quiet easing of an exhale. Or if you do not want to notice anything at all, you can just rest. Now, very slowly, we can open into a quiet sense of space. Not empty space, not lonely space, just space that feels steady and kind. Imagine a dim, warm room that asks nothing of you. The air is calm. The light is low and gentle, like late evening. Nothing shifts. Nothing approaches. Everything is settled. You do not need to picture it perfectly. You can let it be more of a feeling than a picture. A simple spaciousness around you. And right at the center of it, you are already supported. The surface beneath you stays constant. It does not tire. It does not ask you to hold yourself up. Carrying gently the same responsibilities, softer holding. In this warm, quiet space, you can feel how the body does not have to brace so much. Not because you are forcing relaxation, just because the space is stable enough that bracing is not required. If you notice tightness anywhere, you can let it be there. And also let there be space around it. Like a little extra room in the muscles. A little extra room in the chest. Or nowhere in particular. And you can return to the breath whenever you like. Inhale arriving. Exhale easing out. No special depth. No right rhythm. Now let this sense of space be unhurried. The room stays the same. The warmth stays the same. The quiet stays the same. And if thoughts appear, they can have their corner. They can speak softly or loudly. You do not have to answer. You can let them be part of the space instead of the whole space. Carrying gently. You are still carrying gently in your own way. still caring, just not squeezing so hard. Feel again that the support beneath you is doing more of the holding than your muscles need to. If your jaw wants to loosen a fraction, it can. If it does not, that is fine. If your shoulders want to settle a millimeter, they can. Or they can stay exactly as they are. And you might notice the quiet weight of your body in a simple way. The back of you resting, the places where you meet the surface beneath you. If you notice more contact, you can let it feel like help. Or if you notice nothing at all, you can still be held. And if it feels comfortable, notice the simple texture of what is beneath you, not analyzing it, just the quiet sense of contact. And the space keeps being here, either way. Let the exhale be a small sign of permission, not something you have to make happen. Just the natural letting out that your body already knows. And maybe you notice the temperature in the room in the easiest way, not measuring it, just sensing that it is mild and safe. If your hands feel a little warmer, you can let them. If they feel cool, that can be fine too. You do not have to change anything for comfort to be allowed. In this steady spaciousness, you do not have to be on guard. You do not have to keep watch. You can let the moment be wide enough to hold everything without effort. Carrying gently. Same responsibilities. And the carrying can be quieter now. More room around them. And if you lose the feeling of space, you do not need to search for it. You can simply come back to one breath. Air in, air out. And even as you come back, the room does not chain. The light stays low. The air stays calm. The support beneath you stays steady. You can let yourself be right here, in the center of this quiet. The room remains dim and warm. The support beneath you remains steady. And you can rest inside this unchanging, quiet sense of space. Stay here in that dim warmth. The steadiness beneath you is still doing its quiet work. And now, without needing to change anything, you might notice the difference between holding yourself up and being held. Sometimes the body tries to be strong by gripping, by gathering everything inward, by tightening almost automatically, not because you are doing anything wrong, just because you have carried a lot for a long time. So if you can sense even a hint of bracing somewhere, you can let it be known. The smallest clench in the jaw, a quiet lift in the shoulders, a tightening behind the eyes, or a firmness in the belly. And if you cannot find anything like that, that is fine too. You do not have to look. Just notice, in the simplest way, how bracing feels. It can feel like effort in the muscles, like pressure gathering in one place, like you are doing the holding alone. And then, just for a moment, let the support beneath you count. Not as an instruction, just as a fact your body can remember. The surface underneath stays steady, whether you tense or soften. If it feels comfortable, let one exhale be a small easing, not a big release, just a fraction less grip than a moment ago. You might feel how strength can exist without the tight fist of effort. Strength can be quiet. Strength can be spread out. Strength can be supported. Carrying gently. The same responsibilities, softer holding. Now, in your own time, notice the places where your body meets what is beneath you. You do not need to search from head to toe. Just wherever contact is easiest to sense right now. And if it feels comfortable, you might notice the simple temperature at that contact. A mild warmth where you are supported, or a coolness that is still safe. And imagine, very simply, that the weight you carry inside your body is allowed to spread across that contact. Not disappearing, not being taken away, just distributing, like pressure slowly moving from a single point into a wider, kinder area. If the mind tries to understand it, you can let it rest. This is not something to figure out. It is something to feel or not feel. Let the change be gradual. almost subtle enough to miss. A little more surface helping you. A little less muscle needing to work. And if you notice a spot that still grips, that is okay. The body can keep what it needs. Nothing is being forced open. You can be strong and still be soft. Carrying gently. The same responsibilities, softer holding. Notice the contrast again. Braced feels narrow. Supported feels wider. Braced feels like lifting. Supported feels like settling. And you can keep it simple. Just one place in the body, one quiet comparison. A small area that feels a little clenched. And then that same area with a little more room around it. And you do not need to choose one forever. You are simply noticing the difference right now. If bracing returns, it can return. If softness arrives, it can arrive. Both are allowed. Let the breath keep moving in its own way. Inhale, arriving. Exhale, easing out. And as it eases out, you might feel a small shift in the face. A slight unclenching at the base of the tongue. Or a loosening around the eyes. Or nothing in particular. Now, imagine the responsibilities you carry as a steady weight that stays with you. Real, present, not something you have to push away to rest. And at the same time, feel how the contact beneath you can share the work of holding that weight. Not dramatic, not sudden, just a quieter distribution. The load remains and the grip softens. Carrying gently. The same responsibilities, softer holding. And you can test how reversible it is without trying. If you notice a little tightening, you do not have to correct it. You can simply let the steadiness beneath you be here anyway. Let supported strength feel like endurance you do not have to force. Like something that can last because it is not clenched. And as you rest in this dim, warm room, you can allow the body to keep learning this contrast in the simplest way. Braced and then a little less braced. Held and then a little more held. Nothing to complete. Nothing to get right. Just the steady support beneath you and the quiet possibility of less grip. And in that quiet possibility of less grip, something simple can begin to happen. Not as a project, not as a moment you have to create, just as a natural response to being supported. The same responsibilities are still yours. The same weight is still real. And yet, it can start to feel less concentrated, less gathered into one tense point. If you like, you can notice again the places of contact beneath you. Just enough to remember your body is not holding itself up alone. And if you do not notice much, that is okay too. The support is still here. Let the breath continue in its own quiet way. Inhale, arriving. Exhale, leaving. Nothing to regulate. Nothing to measure. And as an exhale passes through, you might sense the weight inside you spreading, almost like warmth spreading through a cloth. Not brighter, not more intense, just wider. A little more of you is allowed to share the holding. Instead of one small area doing all the work, the load remains. The strain can soften, carrying gently the same responsibilities, softer holding. If there is any place that still feels tight, it does not have to change. That tightness can be included in the support, too. Like a hand that stays clenched, while the rest of the arm is allowed to rest. You might notice the jaw does not need to press quite as hard, or the shoulders do not need to hover, or the belly can be a little less guarded. And if none of that shows up clearly, you can still rest here. A soft permission offered to the body. You can let some of this be held for you. There is room for you to receive support without having to do anything about it. And if the body retightens, even in a small way, that can be part of resting too. It is not a mistake. It is just an old habit arriving for a moment. The steadiness beneath you does not withdraw when that happens. If you like, you can let one more exhale travel through that tighter place. Not to fix it, just to include it. As if even that area is allowed to be supported exactly as it is. There is permission for it to be exactly this way right now. Not forever. Not as a promise you must maintain. Just for now. And you might feel what calm joy is like when it is quiet. Not the kind that lifts you up and energizes you. The kind that settles you down. Like relief without applause. If it feels right, let an exhale be a little heavier. Not forced, just allowed to finish fully at its own pace. And then the next inhale can come in when it comes, carrying gently, still yours, and more evenly supported. And the same responsibilities can stay with you without needing to sit in one sharp place inside the body. You do not have to hold your thoughts in place. If they drift, they drift. The body can keep learning this softer distribution without the mind supervising it. Just the dim warmth, the steady support beneath you, and the sense that pressure can spread into a wider, kinder shape. If an old bracing pattern returns, it can return. does not mean you have lost anything. And if softness returns again, that is welcome too. This is allowed to be reversible. A few quiet words, only if you want them. You are allowed to be supported. There is permission to rest, even while you carry what you carry. You do not have to do it perfectly. Carrying gently the same responsibilities, softer holding. And now we can stay with the feeling of that. The load not gone, just spread, shared by the steadiness beneath you. So your muscles can be a little less busy. So your face can be a little smoother. So your breathing can keep being natural. And even if the only thing you notice is one small place easing, that is enough. Even if you notice nothing at all, that is enough too. You can let the support do what it does without needing proof. No achievement needed. Just a quiet, steady easing that you are allowed to receive. If it helps to have a steady place to return to at night, you can always keep coming back to this channel. You can let my voice be a simple companion when your mind feels too responsible to fully power down. And if tonight is one of those nights where you have been holding everything a little too tightly, you are not doing anything wrong. You have carried a lot. You get to be here without having to explain any of it. And if you ever want to stay close to these kinds of meditations, you are welcome to subscribe. If you ever wish, you can stay close to these meditations here. Only if that feels supportive. No pressure at all. And if it does not feel supportive, you can let it go. Nothing changes either way. You can ignore that completely. You do not need to decide anything. Rest rest is enough. Even if your thoughts keep showing up with little reminders and unfinished edges, you do not have to follow them. They can be there, and you can still rest. Carrying gently the same responsibilities, softer holding. Let your body keep receiving the support that is already here. If you like, let the shoulders drop a fraction, or let the jaw unclench in its own time. And if none of that happens, that is okay too. You do not have to make softness happen. Let the breath move in its own natural way. Nothing to keep up with. Nothing to prove. You are safe right here. Carrying gently, even now. And you can keep softening at whatever pace happens on its own. And just like that, you do not have to hold the moment up. The support that is already here can keep doing its quiet work. If any part of you has been bracing, you can let that bracing be unnecessary for a while. Not because you forced it to stop, just because there is something steady underneath you, and you are allowed to be received by it. Notice how your body knows the difference between holding and being held. Maybe it is a small difference. Maybe it is obvious. Either way is fine. Let the shoulders be heavy if they want to, or simply let them be as they are. Let the muscles around the eyes smooth out a little, if that happens on its own. And if it does not, you can still rest. And if it helps, you can sense one simple thing. The weight of you meeting what is beneath you. No effort required. Just contact and support. The spacious, supportive feeling can stay wide and uncomplicated now. Nothing new to picture. Nothing to follow. Just the sense of steadiness, the sense of being met. details in the background can begin to soften. Edges less important. Distance less important. The scene, whatever it has been for you, can grow simpler and simpler until it is mostly just comfort. And as it grows simpler, you can let your body grow simpler too. A little less lifted, a little less on guard, with no need to check if it is working. You can feel the back of your body receiving. The places that are already supported, staying supported. And any place that still feels tight can be allowed to stay tight. Even that can be held. And you can keep everything you are responsible for. It is still yours. But for now, you do not have to clutch it in your hands. You can let it rest in a wider support. Carrying gently the same responsibilities, softer holding. If the mind tries to lean forward, you do not have to follow it. You can let it lean and still stay here. Here, where nothing is asking you to be ready. Feel how the surface beneath you does not ask anything of you. It does not need you to be a certain way. It simply holds you. And you can let that be enough for this moment. Enough support. Enough space. Enough permission to not manage anything. And your breath can be the simplest rhythm inside that holding. Inhale happens. Exhale happens. You do not need to guide it. You can just be close enough to notice it, or not notice it. And even noticing can be soft. Not a task, not not a focus you have to keep. Just a quiet awareness that comes and goes. If thoughts arrive with their little reminders, they can pass through the spaciousness without needing your attention. Like something set down nearby, not picked up. And if you do pick one up for a moment, that is okay too. You can set it back down again without any judgment. The support does not change. Let the jaw rest as if it has nothing to protect. Let the tongue rest wherever it rests. Let the hands be quiet. And if the hands still feel like holding, they can hold only the air. Or the blanket, or the edge of the moment. Nothing that needs effort. And now, even the supportive imagery can fade into something almost wordless. Less describing, more being. The steadiness stays, even as the details leave. The comfort stays, even when you stop naming it. Just support. Just breath. Just this gentle permission to stop carrying anything in a tight way for a little while. Carrying gently and softening without effort. That is enough. You can let the moment be simple. You can let yourself be simple inside it. It's okay. You're safe. Nothing is required from you right now. And if the mind is still a little watchful, that can be okay too. It doesn't have to shut off. It can rest with one eye half open if it wants to. Even that is allowed. There's nothing to prove. Not to me. Not to anyone. Not even to yourself. You don't have to earn the right to be here. You don't have to deserve rest by getting everything finished inside your head. You can rest while things are still unfinished. You can rest while your thoughts are still moving. And you can let that be true in the smallest way. A tiny unclenching somewhere. Or even just the permission to stop checking. No need to measure how relaxed you are. Just for now, you can let kindness be physical. Not an idea. Just a softening. If there's any tightness anywhere, you don't have to go looking for it. But if you happen to notice a place that feels held, or lifted, or clenched, you can let it be met with gentleness. Not pushed, not corrected, just met. And if you don't notice anything at all, that is also rest. You can be vague tonight. You can be quiet inside. You can let your attention blur a little and still be safe. It's okay. You can stop bracing. Or you can brace a little less. Or you can keep the bracing and still be held. All of those are ways of resting. Let the parts of you that work so hard hear something simple. Thank you. You can take a break. You don't have to stand at attention tonight. If they cannot fully believe it yet, that's okay. They can simply lower the volume a little. just enough to let you be here without effort. And you can feel that in the body as a slight unhooking, like effort loosening its grip by one small degree. Like the inside of you making a little more room. Like you do not have to hold yourself up from the inside. Like you can be supported without doing anything extra to deserve it. Your breathing can stay natural. No shaping it. No fixing it. Just letting it come and go the way it already knows how. If an exhale lengthens on its own, you can let that happen. If it doesn't, that's okay. Nothing to prove. Carrying gently. Not by doing more. By not squeezing so hard. And you can carry gently even while something in you still feels unfinished. Even while a thought tries to return with a clipboard and a list. You are still allowed to rest. And if any thought floats through that says, stay sharp, stay ready, stay ahead, you can let it pass without arguing with it. You don't have to convince it. You can simply not follow it. It's okay. You're allowed to be unremarkable tonight. Allowed to be unfinished. Allowed to be soft. And if softness feels far away, you can just be less hard. A little less tight. A little less pressed into readiness. That counts too. Feel the steadiness underneath you, still doing the holding. And in response, the body can answer with less effort. nowhere else to be. Carrying gently the way the night carries time. Quietly, without asking you to hurry. Just this. Just you. Carrying gently. And letting the rest be carried by the support that's already here. And now, you don't have to do anything with my voice. You don't have to hold onto the meaning. You don't have to follow the thread. If it feels good to listen, you can. And if it feels better to drift away from listening, you can. And if you drift in and out, that's okay too. A moment of hearing. A moment of not hearing. All of it is rest. Nothing needs to be understood. Nothing needs to be remembered. You can let the words pass by, the way sounds pass by in the night. Present for a moment. And then gone. If a phrase lands, it can land. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There is nothing you need to catch. And if your mind reaches for a sentence, that's okay. It can reach. And then it can loosen. No need to correct it. You can even let the reaching be part of the drifting. Like fingers opening. Like a grip easing by itself. you need is one simple thing if you want it. The feeling of being supported. The surface beneath you is already doing the work. You can let it. Nothing to hold up. Nothing to keep lifted. You can be held just as you are. Breath can be just breath. Coming, going, no shaping. No trying. And if the breath feels uneven, that can be fine. If it feels hard to notice, that can be fine. You are not required to keep track. Just the quiet fact of it. And when you notice an exhale, you can let it be a small release. Or you can miss it completely. Either way, you are still resting. You are allowed to stop tracking. Allowed to stop monitoring how you feel. Allowed to stop checking for progress. Allowed to be imperfect at resting. Allowed to be half here. Allowed to let your attention wander and come back on its own, or not come back at all. If thoughts come through, they can come through. You do not have to answer them. You do not have to finish them. And if a thought says, "Stay alert, stay ready," you can let that be just a sound in the distance. Not a rule. Carrying gently. still carrying. Just not squeezing so hard. Just a little less grip. Supported. Breath. Support beneath you. Carrying gently. Supported even here. And the rest can fade. You can let my words become part of the background. Not something to hold. Not something to follow. They can blur at the edges. They can thin out. They can become less important than the simple steadiness of being held. If you catch a few words, that's fine. If you catch none, that's fine too. Either way, you can keep softening. If sleep comes now, you can let it take you. And if it comes a little later, you can keep resting until it does. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Just breath as it is. Just support already here. Carrying gently.